Hi everyone, this is Kriti Agarwal and you're watching Chilly and Vanilla by Chef Kriti, where I bring to you tried and tested recipes of desserts, pastries and cakes along with traditional North Indian specialities. Today I'm going to show how I make sugar cookies. These are delicious, crisp, buttery cookies which have the warmth of spices, and these are adorned with eggless royal icing. They are super cute and they are an instant hit with all the kids. My son loved them so much that he wanted to carry them along to his school for his friends, and as I understand from him, each one of those kids loved the cookies. They enjoyed eating them so much. So do give this recipe a try and let me know in the comments how did they turn out for you. However, if you would have any questions, feel free to let me know. I would be happy to answer them. I have tried to include all the tips, tricks and as much information as possible into the video to help you out with the do's and don'ts of the whole process. And if you think there is value addition in the video, do hit the like button. And if you would like to know when I post a video next and would like me to post more such informative videos, do hit the subscribe button. So let's get started and make these beautiful cute cookies. Let's weigh out the ingredients for the cookies. We start with butter, followed by brown sugar and the white sugar. I like a mix of both, and some spices. So they give a very warm flavor to the cookies and not at all over spicy. So spices are cinnamon, ginger powder, clove powder and freshly grated nutmeg. Now once we've sifted them all, it's time to weigh the eggs. The right way to weigh the eggs is first beating it and then weighing out the desired quantity. So once we've done that, we come to the flour, salt and baking powder. Once the ingredients are all weighed out, we start beating the butter and the sugars with vanilla extract into it. And as it starts to come together, I like to add some molasses. It lends a very good flavor to the baked goods. We aren't looking at making this mixture very light or fluffy or anything like in a cake, but as it all comes together, we add in the egg and then beat it all again. While adding the flour, I like to reserve about 20 grams aside and then add the rest. This is to make sure that we get the right consistency, which might even vary depending on the weather. Now, once we have added the flour, after reserving some of that, we bring it all together, and as you can see, the mixture is very, very sticky right now. And this is not the right consistency to basically roll and cut out your cookies. So I add the remaining flour that was reserved, and that too in 2 batches, until I find the consistency to be completely non-stick and slightly firm to be able to handle the dough. It's non-sticky right now, but still I feel it is soft to be rolled and cut out. So I add the rest of the remaining flour. Now I'm happy with the consistency, and we have to roll it out as evenly as possible between 2 sheets of parchment paper. And once this is done, we cut it out into any desired shape. You could use any cookie cutter or even a ruler and cut them into whatever shapes that you like. The leftover cuttings can be brought together and cut into cookies again. If any time during this process the dough feels sticky or becoming loose, it may need to sit in the refrigerator for some time, or what I like to do is I like to freeze it for just about 10 minutes and it comes back to its firm shape. Now we need to bake them in an oven that is preheated at 180 degrees Celsius. Everybody's oven is a little different. So I bake them first for 14 minutes. They will be very lightly golden and soft. After that, another 5 minutes, they get slight golden color, and after that I like to bake them at 150 degrees Celsius until they are nice and golden brown and crisp. This ensures that there is no moisture left inside them and your cookies will stay crisp for many days if they are packed completely airtight. To prepare the royal icing, we just need icing sugar, corn syrup, lemon juice for flavoring and water based on the desired consistency. So we bring it all together using an electric beater because that's much easier, and we keep checking the consistency. The final icing should not be runny or watery in any way, otherwise it will be very difficult to pipe on your cookies. But as it falls, the icing should be able to settle within 2 to 3 seconds on itself. So the trick is to keep adding 1 teaspoon of water at a time, and don't worry if you don't get the consistency right. Let's say by mistake it's too runny, you can always add more sugar or vice versa. So when you pipe it, you will know very clearly if any changes are needed to the consistency in the worst case. When you pipe and if it's too tight on your hands, means you need to loosen it a bit. And similarly, if you feel that it's very free flowing, you may need to add a little bit of sugar. Now let's come to the fun part. I have tried to include as much as I could in the video, some mistakes, some corrections, so hopefully it will help. If you have some designs in your mind, it's great, or else you could keep some pictures in front of you for reference. Now as we start piping the cookies, we first make the outline and then we fill inside. And once you have filled it, it should start to settle or even out on its own slowly. You will also need a sharp needle or any other object that will help the icing settle. So as I have piped it here, I use a sharp tool that I already had with me and even out the surface of the icing. Now I do not prefer to make 2 consistencies of the icing, one for the outline and one for flooding, that is filling inside the cookies. I prefer to have 1 consistency because otherwise to make 2 consistencies of the same color you need so many bowls and so many spatulas. I prefer to keep 1 consistency which is medium consistency so that it stays well when I outline my cookie, and at the same time I can use it easily to fill my cookie also. You can see the outline is very well defined and at the same time I am able to fill it. Now at this point of time I realized that the consistency of my icing was a little too tight because I was finding it difficult to pipe it. So I thinned it down a bit for the next color and it became really easy to outline it as well as fill my cookies, and they were easily self-leveling themselves. Now one thing to note here is that if you would like your colors to stand out discreet and completely separated out, you may need to wait for the first color icing to dry out before putting in the second one. However, if that is not your requirement, you could just let it settle just a bit before putting in the next set of colors. So here is the green color which I have thinned down a bit and it was much more easier for me to pipe. So this is the consistency with which I am able to easily make an outline. Moreover, flooding was also not difficult at all with this kind of consistency. That is the reason I prefer to go with medium consistency rather than going for 2 different consistencies, one for outlining and the other one for filling. Here you can see I'm trying to make a snowflake using my light blue icing, which was already too tight and almost dried up. I did not like it, so you can always wipe it up like I did here. In this case, you can see I wanted these dots to stand out discreet, so I waited for the white icing to settle and dry up just a bit at the top so that I could pipe those dots here. Now once the blue icing has dried up and formed a slight crust at the top, I am sure that the white is not going to mix into it, so I am making a snowman over the blue color. Here I am making a Santa Claus face on this cookie. So you can make whatever design you like, whatever theme you prefer. I was making Christmas themed cookies, so I chose these particular designs. You could make anything that you like. The only thing is once you are done with the icing of these cookies, we need to let them to sit at room temperature, open uncovered to dry up completely. The icing will form the crust at the top, but it requires about 24 hours to dry up completely and not remain soggy or soft inside. If you cover these cookies and let them dry, the moisture from the icing will get into your cookies and make your cookies soggy. So please be very careful. Do not cover them or wrap them until they are completely dry, until it is 24 hours over. So I like to leave them overnight open. Now, another question comes that if at all these cookies are staying outside open in an environment where it is pretty humid or the weather is rainy, due to the weather the cookies can generally become soggy. So what I like to do is, if at all that happens, if I feel that the crust of the cookie has turned slightly soft, I turn on my oven to the lowest possible temperature. Mine goes to 100 degrees Celsius. I turn the oven on and I keep these cookies on a black baking tray, and I place that cookie sheet right at the bottom rack of my oven, and I turn it on for just 5 minutes. So this ensures that heat of that even 100 degree goes directly into your cookie and doesn't heat up your icing much at all. After 5 minutes, you can just leave your oven switched off for another 5 minutes and do not open the door. So after overall 10 minutes with 5 minutes oven on and 5 minutes oven off, take the cookies out. They will be pretty hot to touch from the bottom, but the icing also would not have got damaged in any way. But do not do this process for longer because it might affect your icing. So I like to put the cookies just about for 5 minutes with the oven on at the least temperature, and this ensures that your cookies become crisp again and your icing is not at all affected. So all the cookies are ready now, and here I'll show you one cookie that I tried making using the leftover icing which was almost dry, and hence you don't get the finish. But all the rest of the cookies have a beautiful shine to them. They have a nice finish and they look super cute, isn't it? Do let me know in the comments, how do you like this video? Do you think a lot of effort has gone into making this for you? And did you find it informative? And if you do hit the like button. And if you would like to know when I post a video next, and if you would like more such informative videos, do hit the subscribe button. Thank you. My son instantly fell in love with each one of them. He was so happy to even see them. He just loved them. It's great for kids. They just love these colorful cookies, and it's so much more better than buying from outside, isn't it?